Dive into the fun world of letters with Sparkle Denae's ABC Word Chase and Coloring Book. Looking for an exciting and educational way to help your little ones explore their ABCs? Look no further. This engaging book not only allows your child to practice tracing the alphabet, but also includes tracing words and coloring fun pictures in between. It's kid-friendly, kid-approved, and the perfect blend of learning and creativity. Get your copy today and watch your child's learning journey light up with joy.
Hey everyone, and welcome back to the Life Scope channel. On your way in, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. It's appreciated as always. So, Diddy is facing a new lawsuit from an unnamed woman who is claiming that Sean Combs impregnated her and that Young Miami harassed her to get an abortion. So I want to read a little bit of this Vibe magazine to just catch up on some details if they're sharing and to see what's going on because this just happened yesterday. Sean Diddy Combs' legal troubles continue to stack against him. I know he has so many cases. If we don't take notes, it would just be hard to keep up at this point as a new lawsuit accuses the mogul of drugging and impregnating an unnamed alleged victim. The USA Today reports the case was filed on Friday, September 27th, in New York State Supreme Court by a Jane Doe. It includes allegations of sexual assault and abuse that took place from 2020 through 2024. The suit claims that Combs drugged the unnamed woman as she was compelled to ingest an unknown substance, which caused her to black out. She was then allegedly forced to have vaginal intercourse without her consent and impregnated. The suit also mentions Young Miami, former City Girls rapper and Diddy's girlfriend at the time, harassed Jane Doe by repeatedly calling her and telling her to have an abortion. So let's stop right there. I'm just wondering, even though this is a horrible circumstance to produce a child, but I am just wondering if Young Miami wasn't allegedly harassing or trying to intimidate the unnamed victim, would the unnamed victim had her baby? Or would she have gone that route? And because her option was taken away from her, and because it was put upon her through drugs and through sexual assault, I'm just wondering how this lawsuit is going to read. Like, I don't know. I'm just trying to see basically are the charges going to be filed in that regard. Apparently this is supposed to be recent since it's from 2020 through 2024. So she would be more of a recent victim allegedly. So this is a this is a civil suit, right? Yeah, that well, new lawsuit. So assuming this is a civil suit as well. But I don't know. I guess I'm just wondering, are criminal charges going to be filed in this case? That's what I somewhat am thinking, but I'm not sure. That's just a question that kind of comes to mind for me, just because she was forced into not only taking drugs, not only being sexually assaulted, and it's recent, that's really why I'm thinking is it going to turn into something criminal, but also being forced to terminate. So they are going to have to see whether or not if this information is true. And if it turns out that it is, would that be an additional charge on Diddy? And will Young Miami also be charged as being complicit as well. So when this information is rolled out, I definitely want to read what is in the suit. Now, this is all allegedly, so we don't know if this unnamed victim is actually telling the truth. Combs and his staff also allegedly recorded their sexual encounters without consent, which caused the victim to fear for her safety and experience anxiety and depression. Some events accounted for in the suit even include instances that took place this past July, which was after the Bad Boy founders' homes were raided by Homeland Security. Allegedly, Combs continued to contact the alleged victim in order to control her actions and autonomy. So, yeah, I just want to know the information with this person because this is something that's actually supposed to be so recent that it just seems like not only could you do a civil lawsuit, that maybe there would be criminal charges, especially since the victim said that an encounter happened the past July. It took place the past July. So is there blackmail involved on top of that to force that person to come back to his home? Like, we don't know until we know. But I think I'm going to stop this article right here and move on to something else that I want to talk about. So this is from TMZ, and this is talking about Diddy sex worker who turns over alleged Diddy freak-off tape. I mean, it is getting really down to the juiciness of it all because I heard from watching an interview that Jaguar Wright did. I think it was on the Life Productions where she do most of her videos with the blue couch in the back. She said that she monitors the dark web and them freak off videos are hitting on that dark web and going for very, very high prices. So just think about not only music entertainers, movie stars, possibly politicians, which is maybe a reason why some people are saying that Diddy is being scapegoated. That has come up. People are saying he's being scapegoated because some politicians could be on those videos and they don't want it out. To me, whether or not he's being scapegoated in this case, and I am being real specific, in this case, whether or not he is being scapegoated is beside the point because he actually did participate in some of the debauchery. He is the one that they put out there. So when you play that type of game of trying to just screw over people in such a way that could be deemed illegal, sometimes the people above you who probably put you on to that, they don't get caught up with, or they don't get caught up with until they probably got literally one foot in the grave. However, you are getting caught up with right now. So that is just one thing that I think of when I hear different perspectives and opinions of other people talking about Diddy being scapegoated, and it just doesn't seem right. But just like people are saying the victims are in charge of their actions or they knew what they were getting themselves into, that same rule should be applied to Diddy as well. You are in charge of your actions and you knew what you were getting yourself into. So it's like, sometimes we can't quite go there, especially when we don't have all of the information. all we can do is just go on what we see and what we know for right now. So one of Sean Diddy Combs' alleged encounters with a sex worker was videotaped, and that tape is now in the hands of federal prosecutors, TMZ has learned. Sources with direct knowledge tell TMZ the male sex worker met with the feds Wednesday in NYC and signed a proffer agreement, which allows him to speak to federal investigators without fear of prosecution. So that sounds about right. He wants to be able to give up that information so they could, I guess, have much more of a stronger case against Diddy. And he gets a deal of not being prosecuted by bringing that information forward. One thing about that with the male sex workers, and this is some of the stuff that I was hearing as well, when some people were saying they don't really get the sex trafficking part because, oh, you get with some of the ladies or some of the men, and then you're going across state lines, and how is that different from an actual prostitute that goes across state lines? Like, what would be the difference in that? One of the reporters had asked the DA that last week when we did that video, and he did explain it. The prostitutes, they are the ones that's somewhat of a free agent, and those are my words I'm using. Somewhat of a free agent, like you aren't being carried against your will. You made the decision as a prostitute to travel from one state to another, which I guess they don't deem that to be sex trafficking in itself. But also, I think we have to think about, just because sex seems to be everywhere from movies, social media, it's everywhere to where people don't even really care no more that much. But in a lot of states, prostitution is still deemed illegal. So I'm just wondering, how does that all tie in with some of the states? And was that where Diddy was, or did Diddy cross some of those state lines where the prostitution is still deemed illegal? So, yeah, it is really coming down on him. And then I also heard that he is not eating. And he could be going through a form of depression because he's been in there for much longer than anybody wants to be sitting still anywhere, especially if you're used to being on the move. Nobody's trying to sit still for that long period of a time and being forced to do so. So they're saying that he is not eating as well. I don't know if it's deemed a hunger strike, but he's just not eating. So we're told the conversation revolved around Diddy, with the man explaining how he got in touch with an escort to engage in a freak off involving himself, Diddy, and a woman. As we reported, prosecutors have said the freak offs, instances of group sex, are the center of their criminal case against Combs. Our sources say the man also dished on what types of drugs Diddy allegedly liked to use during the sex sessions, as well as details about one specific encounter he claims was caught on tape. Our sources say the threesome went down in May 2023 when the sex worker claims he flew from Atlanta to Miami to meet up with Diddy and the woman. And he ended up having intercourse with her while Diddy filmed the encounter. And this is a video from the 16th. where they had actually arrested Diddy. Um, so it's been about a week. It's been over a week since Diddy has been in jail. So I can imagine that's a long time, and it's only been a week. We're told the sex worker had a copy of the video from that alleged encounter and turned it over to the agents who met with him. What's interesting about the sex worker's account is it lines up with what Diddy's attorney, Mark Agnifilo, told us about the freak offs. So I'm not going to play the videos. I will leave that to you all if y'all want to see those videos. Yeah, one thing about TMZ, because sometimes people have a complex about them and they feel like they just be ultra messy sometimes. But one thing about them, I believe people be literally leaking them information. They have kind of solidified themselves and be in the forefront for getting information to the public. So people leak it to them. Now, I'm wondering, do they pay for that information? I don't know, because it seems like sometimes they get information really quick, or they got sources that's willing to talk. Like people definitely be showing them videos. And if they pay for that information, I don't know if that's like considered unethical or not. I wouldn't see anything wrong with that because maybe a person just so happened to be either involved or they happen to like see Diddy out or whatnot, and they know that that picture is going to be worth so much money, and they're like, "Oh, there's Diddy. Let me get a picture of him," and then they're showing TMZ. Here's a picture of Diddy doing this or doing that. So I don't know how that would work with them if they are considered, I guess, supposedly real journalists, maybe they would deem this to be unethical. So this is a part of some of those videos, and you got Leonardo DiCaprio in that picture. I forgot this guy name. He an actor though. Yeah. So yep. So that is going to be it as of right now for this video talking about Diddy. Definitely let me know what you think. Don't forget to like, share, as always, subscribe, and support the channel. Until next time, bye.